Good morning. So I'm a trainer at heart, and I'm used to projecting, but because we're recording this so we can send it out virtually, I'm mic'd up, and I apologize because I'm typically a room roamer, but I'm going to be demoing some things, so I'm going to stay here. So I apologize to the other side of the room, but I promise I'll turn and at least acknowledge that you're in the same room as we are. So my name's Courtney Payton, and I actually know many of you, or some of you may know me as well as from these types of meetings, but I'm also the chair of the California Network of Learning Professionals, which is also known as the CNLP. And I just started that role in January, and we've got some great things coming up. But one of the things that I do at CalVCB, along with leadership training, staff development, workforce and succession planning, and just training in general, is I'm on the team with the LMS. And the reason for that is that I actually came from higher education, a higher education background. So I had a lot of experience working in and implementing LMS solutions. So when I came on, CalVCB just happened to be procuring, or had just procured, Blackboard, and so we started to implement, or configure and then implement. So the reason that I want to talk to you all today is that when we started this whole process, we wanted to know what does Blackboard do in a state entity? Like, what does it look like? What can you do? How can it make my job, in which I'm in human resources, easier for training and tracking and things like that? So when Blackboard asked us to participate in today, I thought that it would be the best show to just briefly go over a little bit about how we use Blackboard, but more importantly, show you, right? Most of you in here are learners, and many of you are probably trainers as well. So I want you guys to be able to see that. So by a show of hands, how many of you in here deliver training? Okay, yeah, good. So how many of you deliver online training? And face-to-face? And how about blended? Nice, okay, good. So then how many of you track training? Okay, and how many of you track training on a janky database? And how many of you track training on an Excel spreadsheet? Okay, yeah. So that's kind of the wave of where most people, both public and private, kind of are at. And so I want to talk to you about why any LMS that you're utilizing can help you not only with the tracking, but also with delivery. So CalVCB procured Blackboard in July of 2017, prior to the VHSS procurement process, which is launched through CalHR and CDT. We worked with Blackboard over the last 18 months to customize and configure various workflow processes and features to meet our business need as the California Victim Compensation Board. We also implemented Blackboard for internal training as well as web conferencing. Internal training was in January, and web conferencing was in March of last year. We are currently testing a custom configuration for external training workflow. I heard that question come up earlier. Also uploading historical data and finalizing some other requirements and features for implementation by July. In addition, we have collaborated with various state organizations to share best practices and configuration strategies, resulting in a better experience for stakeholders statewide. So I'm going to briefly show you the things we're going to cover today, and then I'm going to switch over to our environment and get in there and kind of show you guys some of the things that are in there. But I want to just high level go over what I'm going to be touching on today. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of Blackboard for you as a stakeholder. So one of the biggest, I think, pluses is that Blackboard is able to customize their configurations to meet your business need. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and how that looks here when we get into the system. But we also, I mentioned that we have the web conferencing tool, which you may know is called Collaborate. And we were able to completely replace WebEx. And we have found not only internally within our department, but also our external stakeholders find it easier to use. And we're able to connect with those external stakeholders virtually in a much more efficient manner and be able to share content. And then also as the chair of the CNLP, I'm able to host meetings, and many of the partners that are, we're located in different areas, they can actually call in and we can use web conferencing, video and voice with a nice clear feed. So it works really well. And that also decreases the cost of travel, not just across state, but also across agency. Ubers cost money. So there's also an electronic learner registration, which is very intuitive and efficient. So eliminating total hard copy training requests, right? Yeah. Also ease of approval of requests. So, training coordinators, managers, the registry are all able to find out where their approval is at instead of going, do you have my approval request on your desk? Right, and then they're shuffling through. So it definitely has an ease of approval. Able to track and approve workflow is all in one location. So for managers, it's very easy. For training coordinators, whoever needs to view that information. And then learners are able to peruse all available courses in one area, which has also been very beneficial for us because we have 2 different departments that offer training. So we can show what we're offering as a whole as opposed to it being siloed. There's also the online course delivery component. So this allows for asynchronous learning. And for those of you that may or may not be familiar with asynchronous learning is a course that is taken at an individual's own pace. So if you can also think of this as online, but online also can have synchronous learning where you have like a webinar or a web workshop, things like that. But the beauty of an asynchronous course is that the person can actually do it when they're able to do it, not only for their workload needs, but also their personal needs. I know I hear a lot of people having to go to training for a week and they have to coordinate childcare because they're farther away from where they usually are. So this really offers a benefit for our learners that way. It also gives staff more opportunity to experience training. As well as increased learner engagement. And there's actually studies out there, and I've been teaching in an online format for about 10 years, and there's a lot of studies about online learning right now. And one of the studies states that it's actually more engaging, which I know is kind of contrary to people's belief. But the fact that if there's a group of 80 individuals in a classroom, there's typically 5% of the people that actually speak up and raise their hands and ask questions, right? Everybody else is kind of silent and doesn't get questions answered and things like that. So this is actually a better way to engage because they're not so worried about engaging. They can actually type in the chat sessions and things like that. And then the last thing that I'll touch on is Blackboard provides one system of record for tracking training. So we already talked about that on a global level, but I can tell you that as in human resources, when we get, okay, we need all of your ethics certificates, and then you have to go through every single one of the files, and I see people nodding, to get that information. It takes a lot of manpower, a lot of time, and so this is actually being able to pull up whoever took ethics training or sexual harassment prevention, or if it's a program specific, you need to know everybody who's passed a particular course for your program or technical, you're able to do that in one place. And then the last thing is being able to improve the reporting capabilities. So when I say improved, I'm just gonna say that reporting capabilities on a spreadsheet, you can put the little drop-down boxes down and then, but that's pretty much your reporting capability, aside from, acting like you know how to use pivot charts and, things like that. People are laughing because that's really true, right? But you're able to run reports on any information that you've put into Blackboard, which is pretty phenomenal. We've done a lot of customization, and everything that we put in is reportable. So that's huge when you have to, do some run for mandated training and things like that. So I am going to, did you see how smooth that was, Tom? Yeah. I'm using a Mac. I don't know. Yeah, you can, those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so taking a look, oh, let me, how do I make it bigger? I know, right now this is not, oh, wait for it. No? Is it the green button? Thank you, Mac users. Thank you. Okay, not smooth. All right. So moving on. So one of the things I want to just caveat this and tell you all is that as I'm demonstrating this, I'm actually in as an administrator. So because I want to toggle between different roles and be able to show you some of the many different things. So just know that this isn't necessarily what a learner would see when they logged in. Okay. It is. It's one of my dashboards. So if you're familiar with Blackboard, there's a few different components. One is Learn, which is the actual kind of online delivery component, and then one is Genius, which is the registration component. So I'm going to be toggling back and forth and showing you a couple different things. But in reference to that, we chose to have our home page be in the Learn environment. And the reason why we chose that is that it's more customizable as far as what we need for our learners. So what you'll see, and when a learner logs in, this is exactly what they'll see. And you can see here we've got some customized verbiage, but also our colors and our logo are all on there. So when somebody logs in, they know they're not feeling like, oh, I'm not sure where I'm at, or is this where I'm supposed to be? It looks very much like home. So on that, you'll notice here that there's different courses. So you'll see listings for master courses, and then you'll see courses where you are the instructor. So if you have dual roles, it'll actually place those in different components for you. And then also you'll see down at the bottom courses where you are a student. So as a learner, if they log in, they're only going to see that. Okay. Also, I wanted to point out that we use Collaborate in a little bit of a different way, which is that we actually used it to record our training video. So this is an actual Collaborate recording.
For the best experience, use the CalVCB,
which I don't think you guys can hear, but
link and paste into your address bar of your Google Chrome.
So I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I wanted you to be aware that we are using all areas of this particular resource and tool to provide training and not just the web conferencing piece. So I wanted to make sure you guys saw that. So moving over to, I'm going to show you a little bit of registration at this point. Okay, now I am going to get... registration. So this is also known as the Genius dashboard. So as an admin or as a manager, which I'll show you as well, this is typically where you will log into. This will be where the different areas that you'll see, which I'll show you guys as far as the manager goes. So as a manager, and I'm going to switch my role here. This is the login page, and you'll notice that there's a lot less tabs up here at the top because you can customize the view for your managers so they don't get overwhelmed by things that don't necessarily pertain to them. So this is the actual dashboard, but when you click on home, this gives an overview of where your specific employees are at in their training process. So you can look at what are they enrolled in, what requested courses do they have, and have you approved them yet, as well as what's been completed. So it's a real great snapshot, and this is customizable. So you can actually have, if there's certain things you want your managers to be able to view, you can actually have that on this particular page. All right. So the beauty of this particular area is you can actually kind of see where the training request is at. So we've actually built in a workflow for external training as well. So it's by a certain money threshold. So you can actually see, well, where is that? Who's got it? Does the budget officer have it? Does the executive officer have it? So all of that's built in. Okay. Also, the requested courses that you see there, waiting approval, there's an automatic email that gets sent to the manager that they can pull, that pulls up and it says, Courtney Payton wants to take completed staff work. Do you approve or deny? And it's these huge, big, bold, and you can just click on it in your email, and boom, it's done. So you don't even have to log in to approve requests, which is also beauty. So moving over to registration, I'm going to switch over to the learner. So this is the learner dashboard. So again, earlier somebody asked, is that your dashboard? There's many dashboards. So when a learner logs in, this is the screen they see. And I just want to point out that every screen that you've seen is CalVCB branded. We want people to make sure that they know where they're at all times. So that was really important to us. So this is very user-friendly. A couple of things to point out. You can see active courses. So those are obviously courses that the person's currently enrolled in and taking. You'll notice that there's completed courses over here, and I want to show you this. This is an opportunity for people to, if they need to find their certificate, they click on it. Boom. Ah. I'm surprised I didn't hear trainers going, ah, wow, right? Yeah, so you no longer even have to supply a physical certificate. We have lots of certificate paper left over. If anybody still needs that, we'll be happy to donate. And it's all right there, right, for the learner, right? So also I just wanted to point, well, I'll do that in a second. I'm going to show you guys that at the end. So to request internal training, you would come in, and this is where the course catalog is. So you can see what different training is available. And I love this experience. So let's say I want to be outstanding at customer service. I add it to the cart. Now this is really key. We customize this. So many of you probably have training requests that have lots of information on them, right? And you want to track that information. Well, we had this related exactly to what we need to tell CalHR, or what we want to know, is this required, is it job related? So you can select any of those, and then you can type in, because I'm a super fast typer, what the course benefit is. We want to know, like, what's the benefit of you taking this course? You add it to your cart, and then, just as if you were on Amazon, you can proceed to checkout, but here's the best part. You ready? I don't even have to pay for it. So absolutely confirm me. So then it'll take you back to the dashboard, and do you notice anything different about the dashboard? Right. So now those courses that I just signed up for immediately go into pending. So I know that they went to the manager, so the manager right then got an email to say, do you approve this training? As soon as that manager approves a training, that course moves up to active. Easy. All right. Oh, thank you, Robin. Yes, so actually once the manager approves the email, the system then sends a registration email to the participant with an ICS file attached. And the ICS file is an Outlook file for your calendar. It's automatic. Just putting it out there, right? So, you know, I get all the time asked, oh, can you send out a calendar invite and invite everybody to the training? Well, I don't have to do that anymore. You can set up your course to automatically do that. Good question, Robin. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the online course delivery portion. So there are two ways to get to a course. If you're already in this dashboard, you can click on the course from right here, or on the home page I showed you where the course is stated that you're a student, you can click on it there. But I'm going to click on it here. Boom. Now I'm in the online course delivery. Okay. So we did some configuration strategies with our teams to make sure that every person had a similar learning experience, regardless of who was designing the course. So for example, you could go into any of HR's courses, or you could go into any of our program courses, and you would always see either launch course here or start course here. And just an instructional designer tip, that's very helpful for learners because they're taking multiple courses. They don't want to have to be looking at how do I find what I need to find. All of our courses start with a home page that has the course information, the course learning objectives, and then contact information for help. once the learner clicks on the launch course here, there's many different variations of instructional design that can take place here. This is actually a SCORM course, or it was built in Storyline Articulate. Captivate also does SCORM. So they click on that course. It takes them out, and it actually keeps them wherever they left off.
Sheet example. Select different areas and click Submit to check your response.
Okay, I have. Those of you that have it know. I don't know how to get out of this. Actually, I'm just going to do this. So when you click out of it, once you're done with the course, or even if you have to stop midway, it automatically takes you back to the page that you were on, which is very important, okay? Because then they know, okay, there's also additional resources here that they can download, as well as some different definitions and things like that. So this is just a sample SCORM course that I wanted to show you. So this would be an example of asynchronous learning. So the beauty of this course is that it's set up that I don't have to do anything. Literally, the person goes in, finishes the course. When they're done, it automatically grades them and automatically puts in a certificate for them. In fact, I don't even know who's taken the training unless I go in and look myself, right? Which is amazing because I don't have to be bombarded with, oh, here's your certificate. Oh, I have to track it in the Excel spreadsheet. Oh, I need to email your manager and tell them that you're done. Those types of things. So it's very, very beautiful. Another course that I wanted to just briefly show you, just so you can see some of the engagement that happens. So you'll notice this course is different, but it's actually a much longer course. It's got different modules here. But one of the things I want to show you is there are discussion forums. And so this is actually also an asynchronous course, but it's an instructor-led asynchronous course, which means that I don't have to be in there while the learners are in there, but I can go in and we can be collaborating and participating with each other through a discussion thread, which is really, really engaging for people, especially if they are introverts and they don't like to speak out, you know. So they go in and type in, and then I can go in as the instructor and respond and ask additional questions. They can ask questions of me. It's a very good dialogue that happens back and forth between learners and instructor. And so the other thing I wanted to just state about these particular courses, so we offer online but also face-to-face courses. And the beauty of offering this with a face-to-face course is that how many of you that are trainers want people to have a little bit of pre-work or want them to have a little bit of knowledge about what you're teaching them before they come? Okay, well this is great because you can actually enroll them in this course for registration purposes, right? They might have some pre-work that they have to do prior to coming in that they get graded on, and then they come in and they're already ready to take your course. So you can use the online delivery system to actually facilitate a more engaging face-to-face course. And then the last thing that I kind of touched on earlier was that learners are able to participate in more training because they're able to take online classes, which that then also meets the demands of their schedule. So the last area that I'm going to switch back to is I want to show you some of the reporting and some of the tracking capability. So as I said before, there's no more limitations on the spreadsheet, or as we like to call in our department, janky databases. So you're able to track all different training, but for my intents and purposes, I have to track all mandated and leadership training, which I'm sure many of you do. So I want to show you how I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my role again. So I'm in as the administrator. And so there's a couple of ways that you can do this. So let's say I need to go and I want to check how many people have taken ethics training. I select ethics training, and automatically it's going to show me who's not complete, who still needs to complete this particular course. But if I go to enrollment history, it pops up everybody, and I can do it by date. So I can actually go down and see, oh, okay, so all these people have completed. And I can run a report for this. But if I just want a snapshot, it's right there. Okay? As I said earlier, any information that you are putting in, you can run a report on. So you can click on reports. And we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to go to run report. And this is beautiful. You have already predetermined reports for most things that you need. And you have ones that you can customize. So for example, this one right here, which is enrollments by course with an expiration date. So one of the things that we've done to customize is that we have an automatic notification set up in the course when it's ready to expire. So if somebody has taken ethics on January 17th, it's automatically set up that on December 17th, they're gonna get a 30-day notification automatically that I don't have to do in 2 years, right? So to run that report so I can see, well, who needs to do what, you can run that report. So we customized this report for us. So it comes with ones that you probably would already need, like I need enrollments by course, right? Or I need courses by learner. But this is actually a customized report. Also, you are able to bulk email and bulk enroll learners, which as either a manager or an HR manager or training coordinator may be the case. If you know that 25 of your supervisors need to take sexual harassment prevention training, then you can go in and select those 25 supervisors and enroll them like that. So the way you do that is you actually click on learners, and you'll notice right here there's bulk email and bulk enroll, which I use both. And the email is actually comes from the Genius registration page. Thank you, Tom. But it goes right to their Outlook email address. So I can go in and I can say, I want to bulk enroll, and I only want to bulk enroll the human resources group. And I want to, so I'm just, and I don't even know what I want to do, so I'm just going to get that data. It only pulls up the people that are in human resources. I can get them all. I can hit bulk enroll, and then it's very easy. I can say, okay, I want to enroll them all in alternate work schedule training because they all need it, and then I hit enroll, and it bypasses the approval process. So if you're an admin, it's automatically going to put them into that course, and you don't even have to do anything with that. As the manager, same thing, but as a manager, you would only be able to bulk enroll your people. Because I'm an admin, I have access to everybody. Does that make sense? Okay. Also, and one last thing that I wanted to show you all, I'm going to log back in as a learner. So as a manager, you're going to have two roles that you're going to switch over just like I did. So you're either going to have affiliation, which is a manager, or a learner. Because there are times when as a manager, you are a learner, right? So there's a 40%, we all know there's a 20-hour biennial requirement for leadership training, right? And 40% of that can be on-the-job training of some sort. So we built that in because we want to track it. So, can you tell I'm excited about this? Request leadership, I know, no. Request leadership hours. You pull it up, you put in whatever date it is, and then you can select and we put in whatever CalHR allows us to track. So this person went to a conference. Then they can put in, their description. It's automatically linked to on-the-job training. They can put in their hours. And then if they got a certificate or an agenda or there's materials that they want to upload or the manager's requiring them to upload, they upload that and they click request credit. Same thing happens. The manager can go in and approve those. And here's the beauty. Your transcript shows everything. So if I've completed a course, it's going to show that course. If I've done on-the-job training, it's going to show that all on my transcript. So I believe Liam mentioned that that is one of the things that links into the back-end system. So once we have that capability, because we did procure after the VHSS, we will be able, they will automatically receive all of that information. Okay? So ultimately, this new LMS allows us to accomplish our mission, which is helping victims. But it does that by making the training process more efficient and more effective for all of us, whether you're the manager, the learner, the training coordinator, or eventually CalHR. So, yep, I know. So now we're going to take questions.
Hi, I was wondering if you have an example of one of the courses, like what it looks like as a learner. Is it something that you can click through that's kind of like the sexual harassment prevention training?
I don't have sexual harassment
No,
prevention.
not that one, but just
Not that one. Well, and then the only reason I don't have that is because unless you have your internal course that's approved, then you go through CalHR. But yes, let me show you what that actually looks like. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So to be honest with you, these courses all look the same. But if I ever want to go into a course to see just what the student sees, you can enter into student preview. And this is what the student sees, which is pretty similar to what I just showed you, except that it doesn't have all of the grade book and all the stuff at the end. So this is what a learner would actually see. This is the course. So if you go, so this is there. This is very different to public sector. So this is like higher ed. If you've taken higher ed courses, there's typically information on a page, and then you can click into. So this isn't a straight video. There's activities they have to do. There's different goal setting things, and then some of the interaction would be, for example, this is a. Let me see if I can find the video. There's a video in here. But sorry, I'm trying to find the video. So there's like YouTube videos embedded. This is not a flat out Scorum course. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. I did that with the AWS, and that's kind of what pulled up, and I showed you. The other format that we've used for courses is links. So let me show you that real quick. So let's take ethics training, for example. Ethics training is literally a link to DOJ's ethics course, okay? And then how we've looped that, so you have to have a certificate, right? And it's their certificate. So we've linked that where this is actual graded item. They have to submit their certificate into the course. And then I go in and say, okay, you've completed the course, you've completed the course. And as I'm doing that, at least for the time being, I'm printing off those certificates. So that part for the mandated training that we don't offer in-house, that's the workaround that we've used, but it actually works really well because we still have them electronically.
And we're going to be showing you some examples during the Blackboard presentation of different types of course content you can author and leverage from third parties.
And please wait just until they come with the mic, only because we're recording, and the people that want to see this are going to want to hear the questions.
I have a question about your external request.
Okay.
Can you show it to us?
Nope.
It's not.
Right now, it's in our testing environment, and we're still working through some of the bugs and stuff. But what I can tell you is that we've gone through Genius to actually create that as a customization. So there's a couple different ways, and I know Taborda will be talking about their solution later, but ours is actually within the Blackboard system.
Hi, I wanted to find out if it has the ADA compliance feature, since that is now a big push in state government.
Yeah, that's a good question. So Tom and Daryl will probably be talking about Ally later. We did not procure Ally when we got this. We're 18 months into this, and it wasn't as big of a push. And just so no, I don't have that to show you. We are definitely want to look into that, and just as the chair of the CNLP, it's something we're also looking at doing and showing some different things and having some experts come in, because right now the push is that any public facing needs to be accessible, but I'm pretty sure that training content is going to be following very quickly. So stay tuned for more training specific accessibility.
And Courtney's right. We'll be showing you Ally later today. We address accessibility in a few ways. The platforms that she's showing you today, all Blackboard's platforms, are 508 ADA compliant. But we also have an Ally feature that helps audit and give you suggestions on how to make your own content that you author at your department more accessible, and we're the only LMS in the market to do that.
Yep.
Hi, can you explain the different functions of Genius versus Learn versus Collaborate? Briefly?
Well, I can't. What I can tell you from a state perspective, from a State Department perspective, Collaborate we use for all of our web conferencing as well as recording training. So we use it in that way for with Collaborate. So Learn is really the delivery. It's content delivery. So whether that's online, whether it's you're putting stuff on for face-to-face to pull up, it's content delivery. And then Genius is registration and tracking. So I don't know if you want to add in more.
Well
of that.
done.
Thank you.
I got a question about your extensive configurations or customizations that you were mentioning. So what is the process with Blackboard?
Yeah, I can handle that.
We
one if
call
you want.
Tom.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so with all implementations, even through the VHSS, we have a large amount of service to implement our clients, so state departments. And it's a combination of just collecting information about the organization, different business rules, so that we understand the different workflows we need to support for your organization. And then we can configure the system to meet those needs. In some cases, there are really unique workflows where we might have to customize, like the Genius registration platform, for instance. And we've done a few of those for CalVCB. And it all depends on the uniqueness of your organization and what you're trying to accomplish.
And can I just say something in addition as well? And one of the things to remember is that I just totally lost my train of thought. Sorry. I'll come back because it was something I really wanted to state. And I don't.
Hey, Courtney. So I'm just trying to get some idea for scalability. At DGS in general, we're going to support about 3,600 people. And inside Facilities Management Division, I'm going to have to support 1,600 people. So how many active users are you supporting, and do you see any issues with having to support 1,600?
So we support 259 internal. However, we have, how many externals? 200? Yeah, contracted 200. As far as scalability, in my opinion, and having worked with different LMSs, I think Blackboard has an extreme flexibility and capability to do that, especially managing that, because you can, if you've got them, my assumption is that you're not overall 1,600 of those people, right? Like you yourself. Right, but what I mean is there are tiers, right? So there's probably managers in between, and so you can set up your affiliations that way so that it's very tiered. And so I'll just kind of show you briefly ours, which is we set it up almost like our org chart, so, because we wanted our approvals to route that way. So when you look at our affiliation structure, you can see that it's scalable, because you saw me pick human resources and there were 9 people there, right? So Beth, who's actually here today, she's our HR manager. She can only see those people. But for example, Robin is over all of programs. So when she goes in, she sees all the way down. But you can always just click into and scale that down. Does that answer your question? Okay.
And then just adding to that a little bit, we're hosted on AWS. We support organizations that are extremely large, statewide deployments across multiple universities. In the federal government, we're the enterprise solution for the United States Air Force. Army Training and Doctrine Command, we support over 1 million users. So scale really in that regard isn't an issue either. I
remembered really quick, so while you're passing that over, I remember what I was going to say. I did want to say that CalVCB and actually DGS have done quite a bit of that customization piece, and Genius just rolled out, and Learn but Learn didn't roll theirs out recently. But Genius just rolled out a whole, upgraded, and it has like 5 or 6 things that we asked them to add, and they were like, that's a great idea. So the departments that are going before you are kind of paving the way for a lot of the configuration things that you would then be able to implement as well. So, sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Go ahead.
Hi, I had 2 questions. One, are you designing and developing all your own courses? And the second one was, are the courses shareable between different departments? For example, if there's a DGS course that meets procurement needs for my department, can they get shared, or how does that work?
Let me answer the first question. So yes, we are developing all of our own courses. I showed you a couple different variations. So when, some of the courses are developed in that they have a homepage and then they have a link, like for example, ethics. But that we put all of that together and had to kind of design how we wanted to make sure we closed the loop on getting the certificate. But all the other courses, like the balancing priorities, and there's a whole slew of them that aren't on here that are actually over our program area, and they're all, instructional designed by our teams. So the answer to that is yes. Will you take that?
Sure.
Okay.
So another way to address that as well is I would suggest you all network as much as possible.
Yes.
And we as Blackboard as an organization want to support the California Network of Learning Professionals in any way that they ask, demand. So if you guys see a course that's already authored by another department and they're willing to share it with you, it's
Absolutely.
as easy as exporting it, usually into a format called Common Cartridge, and then importing it into your instance of Blackboard. Other LMS systems, if you're using a different LMS, can also support Common Cartridge sometimes. And then another common format would be like a SCORM course, which I think many of you are familiar with. If you build in an external authoring tool like Captivate or Articulate, you can export those into a format that's digestible by Blackboard or any LMS.
But to answer the simplicity of your question, no. So meaning like I couldn't access a DGS course that Dana did. I would have to actually import that course into my particular Blackboard session mostly because of the affiliation structure, and you want to make sure that, otherwise that course is out there for everybody and yada yada. So
we have other more intricate ways to share courses as well. We have a product called Open Content with Blackboard where you can actually publish your course and control the I'm going to forget what it's called, CC. It's like licensing around your course, and you can allow that to be shared out with the public or with whomever you choose, and then it's as easy as linking that course into your Blackboard instance rather than uploading it. But if you need more information on that, just come find us after today. Did you have another question? No? Any other questions?
no?
Thank
No
you
personal
so much,
questions?
Courtney. Yeah, no personal questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.